welcome to the Sci-Fi Diner Classic. I'm one of your hosts, Scott Herzog.
And hello, I am Miles P. McLaughlin.
And tonight we are bringing you an interview with a very lovely young lady.
Yes, at the time I was not as familiar with her work.
That's right, you were not watching Stargate at that point.
I was not, and so I, didn't get to appreciate her work. But the year after, I went on a major Stargate watch, and that was remedied very quickly after that.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. So Torri Higginson, right?
Right.
People know her as who?
Dr. Elizabeth Weir. She commanded the Atlantis expedition for the first couple seasons.
Yeah, until she went and got all replicant on us.
Right. Man, they put her character through the ringer.
Yeah, and wow, what a sweet lady, down-to-earth lady who really, really humble about her experience in Stargate, wouldn't you say? Very humble, and just still surprised that people still care and excited about what she did and her work and stuff. So yeah, absolutely incredible, and probably the only guest who ever told me to F off.
I think she meant that in the nicest way,
right? In the most loving way.
But she thanked me for calling her lovely. So
right. So I get cussed at, and you get called lovely. I see how it goes, Miles.
You just got to know how to talk to women, Scott.
You just can't whip out the fancy technology in front of women, right?
Well, she just got insanely jealous. I mean, it was just you lay on the compliments, and it works out better for you.
Yes. Well, I'm going to take a page from your book the next time I meet her.
Right.
But in the meantime, we want to share this interview that we did about 2 years ago, I guess, at Shore Leave, and it was the same year. I think Edward was there. Wasn't it the same year Edward was there? Yeah, it was. And Kevin Sorbo was there, and Kevin Sorbo. We have to bring Kevin Sorbo to that. We had a good time with him.
We had a great time with him,
He'll have to be our number 22. But Sci-Fi Diner Classic 21 here, and we're bringing you Torri Higginson from Stargate Atlantis. And we hope you enjoy this interview.
Sci-Fi fans, this is Dr. Weir, and you're listening to the Sci-Fi Diner podcast.
Our intel was correct. The planet has been completely destroyed.
Can you detect any trace replicator cells?
Negative. They've been completely wiped out.
Good. We can finally get to work without having to look over our shoulders. It's time to begin.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're fans of great movies like The English Patient, great sci-fi shows such as TekWar, The Outer Limits, Stargate, and Stargate Atlantis, then you'll be delighted to know that we are talking with the lovely Ms. Torri Higginson. Ms. Higginson, welcome, and thank you for taking time to talk with us on the Sci-Fi Diner podcast.
Why, thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for lovely.
Oh, no. Well, you are. So forgive me for asking this. Are we speaking with the real Torri Higginson or a replicant?
Replicant.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. Great.
All right. Real life replicant. Last year we had a chance to meet some of your former fellow castmates. Christopher Heyerdahl was here last year.
Oh, lovely. He's adorable, right?
He's great.
Yeah.
We spoke about man.
He talked to us for about an hour.
Yeah. Not that we're expecting that much.
No. He was just very laid back. We talked with Robert Carter last year.
Oh, sweet. Nice.
And Rachel Luttrell and Jason Momoa, and he's a big guy.
He's a very big guy, right? And the two of them together are adorable. So this little pixie, and he is Conan.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Which is
hilarious. Yeah.
So, well, the question was, whether Heyerdahl was bigger, and he claimed that he was taller.
Oh.
So they had a little bit of competition.
And who won?
I think Heyerdahl.
He was taller. I would think he's taller. Yeah. He's got that long, lean thing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Cool.
Well, with Stargate Atlantis, can you tell us what inspiration you drew to create your character, Dr. Elizabeth Weir?
It's so funny with series. What happens is it goes so quickly. All of a sudden you get a job, and within 3 days, or with this job,
I was in another city, so I was hired, and literally you had about a week to pack up your life and move to another city, another country. So it was kind of a strange, usually I like to dive in and do some serious research, find out, like, what kind of a doctor is she? What is this? And didn't have any time for that. All of a sudden, you're in Vancouver and you were working. And also, I was starting into working on SG-1 as well, because they had to replace or, introduce Weir with brown hair. So I was shooting the two at the same time. So there was no time to do any personal sort of research. And it was funny, I spoke to the writers about wanting to see the past Stargates, because I hadn't seen them, and I wanted to see the introduction of Dr. Weir, but I was concerned about it, because we're also chameleons.
Switch the character, right?
Yeah, and I thought, I don't want to watch another actor do it, because A, it can make me very insecure, and I could go, oh my God, she's way better than me, I can't do it. Or B, I might steal from her, and I was hired based on my instincts, and I don't want to. So it was great. I talked to Brad about that. And he was lovely. He said, you were hired based on what you did when you walked into that room. So I think you should watch it just to get a background, but don't take anything except for what's on the page.
Right.
So that was cool, and that gave me a little bit. But yeah, it was funny. I didn't do any of the academic research that usually I love to do. I just sort of dove in, and then you sort of started learning through the process. Yeah.
Right. So they gave you a lot of freedom in creating her.
Well, I mean, it was kind of, I'm sweating like a mother in here. Sorry, that's you. Anyways. Beep, beep. Yeah, I mean, they didn't, to me, it was pretty, the situation that they put you in, and that was an interesting balance, right? Because actors want character-driven pieces, and writers like plot-driven pieces. Right. And so there's always that struggle between producers and writers of, what the purpose is. But the first few episodes, the plot, the story is so extreme. Kind of what research could you do? I mean, really, I don't know anybody that's lived on another in another universe. Right. There's nowhere I could go for that. So you kind of just put yourself in that reality. I mean, there's nothing to match it with, so you just let your imagination go and dive in. And so, yeah, it wasn't so much character work, but the situation, the stories, and the plot. Then after 2 or 3 episodes, and we all settled in, and went, oh, now I know who she is.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it kind of happened that way. Does that make sense?
Right.
Well,
and what and really, what a great story having a female lead. Running this base and the whole tension between the military and everything else. It's the tension they're playing with in SGU a little bit.
Oh, good.
There's the whole military civilian control, which is kind of played with in Atlantis, but this is taken maybe to a bigger extreme. But
wonderful, which I'm glad they did, because I think it's a really interesting question. I mean, it goes on in our day-to-day right now.
It's totally social commentary.
Absolutely, right, which is the beauty of sci-fi, right? It allows you to do all that stuff. Right. And also the beauty of sci-fi, that they have been forerunners in having women as leaders, which is so gorgeous.
Right.
Now, you had a chance to play a replicated version of yourself in the show. Was there a difference for you how you played the replicated version? I mean, did you draw on some different things for that character?
Well, again, we were sort of told. It was funny because I did a show called TekWar years ago, where I was a android, and so I talked to William Shatner about it. It was based on his novels, and I said, "Well, what do I do to be a robot?" He goes, "No, you're a level 10." Absolutely no difference. I'm like, no difference? He goes, absolutely no difference. I said, but there has to be, because then I come back as a person, and there has to be something. He goes, you're a level 10. I just had to keep saying that, I am level 10. I am level 10. So I kind of thought what it did for her was she was the same, except her decision-making was less emotional.
Okay.
And that was kind of it. So it gave her a bit more freedom.
Was it fun playing the replicated version too?
Yeah. Yeah, it's always fun. It's fun sort of having a list too, going, okay, I've done old Weir, I've done robot Weir, I've done, you sort of all the different versions.
That is right. But it was cool to watch that, because there's almost a little bit of a coldness to Weir as a robot, which you don't get on the base.
Oh, good.
Or on Atlantis.
Yeah.
That was my feeling about it.
Yeah.
But,
Good.
yeah.
That's what I like to hear.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished. Now, speaking of Stargate Universe, there's rumors that there'll be some characters from Stargate Atlantis making appearances on there. Any chance we can look forward to you making an appearance on
Well, as I said to a fan yesterday, you guys hear before I do. So, truly, you guys know way more than I do. It's amazing. So, if you hear, would you mind sending me an email? Let me know.
No problem.
I don't expect to, because, I think they killed me 7 or 8 times. I don't know. Right. But at this point, I'm sort of floating around space, I think. So, I doubt it. Mm-hmm. But,
maybe they encounter you floating around. I mean,
right?
You're
maybe.
You can't die.
exactly. Maybe there's 100 of me. They kind of like a Milky Way, which is made up of replicator weirds just floating around.
That'd be cool.
The Milky Way weird. Not impossible. Sci-fi. Nothing's impossible.
Right.
What was the atmosphere like on the set of Stargate Atlantis? Was it laid back, a tight ship, or, you know?
Well, it's funny. We used to always compare ourselves to the SG-1 crew, and the SG-1 crew just sees, they're laid back and, partiers and just like hell for leather, jokesters and like everything. And we were sort of the anal sort of. And I think because we came in and we had this franchise that was so successful and we were filming right beside them, and there's a little bit of insecurity going, we don't want you to hate us. Are we coming on? Because there's rumors, are we coming on because you're being canceled? Is there resentment here? Is there fans going to resent us? Yeah, so there's that sort of a pressure, that as well as the success, and going, are we going to live up to this franchise? So we were all a little bit more anal and narrow and sort of business-like, and those guys, I won't say show up drunk and partying. They were a much more fun crew, for sure. We were a bit more. And then I think, Jason, when he showed up, he shook us up, which was great. I think the Davids and the Joes and myself were a little bit in our head and would worry too much. And then Jason showed up and went, bugger worrying.
What Picard is saying for himself, comparing his experience with Stargate and with Star Trek Voyager was, for him, it was a little more freedom to, if he had a good ad-lib, he would have to clear it with a bunch of producers on Voyager, whereas on Atlantis it was, I had this idea. It's like, that's good. It was,
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe it was a really tight ship on Star Trek.
Yeah, I wonder. I wonder.
Did you have a lot of freedom with the script to bring yourself into it?
Honestly, I'm not going to show you where I can be honest. I didn't feel that much freedom, no. I felt that it was a struggle, and I felt that... when Brad made his door really available, but then he sort of, during the process of the series, was getting busy in other series and doing the movies, and he sort of disengaged from Atlantis. And when that happened, it was really difficult, I felt, to have a communication with anybody. And I felt that a lot of time, too, when you did suggest it, there's a lot of personal stuff. And I think people were stressed. I think it got to a point that they were kind of working on 3 series at once, and everyone was just exhausted. And like, I don't want to hear another thing. I'm fighting with 5 writers here, 2 producers, and all that network, and I don't want to hear an actor tell me something.
Last thing I need is an actor coming in here telling me.
Right? Yeah. So I kind of did start getting that vibe, which surprised me because it didn't feel like that to begin with. But stuff happens, and I think they're on their way to the next one. So it sounds, this next one too, they've really opened that up, and they have this amazing crew of actors. I met David Blue at a con last year. And the other ones, though, are just so strong and such established actors that I think it's great. It's allowing, they're hopefully teaching the producers a little bit of, give us some freedom, and it's a bit more.
Right. Well, and then as we're toward the end of the series, when you become Replicant, you kind of disappear for a while. Was that, did you have other things going on, or was that just a script writing decision? How did that all play out?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that, I don't know. I think that it wasn't my choice. I think it was, I think they knew I was a bit frustrated with what was happening. I felt that they weren't using her to the best of her ability, and I didn't quite know why I was there. It was that discussion about military, and I thought, if she has no input here, then don't let her be here. Have that be the story and write her out, but make it clear. So I think they knew I was frustrated, and they didn't quite know what to do with me, so it kind of got a little bit messy, and then I took off.
But what a great episode. That episode where you become the Replicant is phenomenal.
It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. They do some good stuff.
Right.
Are you making some more convention appearances? How many do you usually do a year?
I only seem to do like 2 or 3 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's definitely, it's slowed down a little bit. I might go to New Zealand. I think I was invited to New Zealand in October. But yeah, I'm not sure it's a far trip though. I've done it before. It's amazing.
It is, but come on, New Zealand.
I know, it's amazing. It's so beautiful.
Every actor we talk to has been to New Zealand saying, look, you gotta go.
It's so beautiful. It's shocking. Yeah, like I did do one there a few years ago, and it's amazing. You think, what an extraordinary, how lucky are we? We get, this whole convention thing, the first time I did one, I went, I'll never do that again. It completely freaked me out. It was I'm a pretty private person, so I just found it sort of, wow.
Overwhelming.
Yeah, really overwhelming. But then the more I did them, and you sort of had to do them to begin with for, this publicity stuff, and I fell in love with it because I recognized that how goddamn lucky. Who else gets a weekend where everyone tells them how much they appreciate what they do? Mm-hmm. Like every job should have that. Every job. Mm-hmm. Especially, teachers. And you should have are you a teacher?
I am an English teacher.
Oh my God. I mean, I've always, they're the people that should be getting the awards and the appreciations and it surprises me, but it's such a lucky thing. And I've been sort of unemployed this past year a fair amount. I've done some theater, but it hasn't been a very lucrative year.
Right.
So this has been a great weekend, just having all these people come up and tell you how much they appreciate work you've done. And it's an amazing gift. That on top of flying around the world. And they say, we're going to fly you to New Zealand and tell you that you're great.
Yeah. And pay you a little bit.
Really? Okay.
I know.
Just speaking as a family, seeing you guys, after a long day at work, we come home and we put in a Stargate or something like that. It helps us to not only unwind. I guess we are entertained at the same time. A lot of it's social commentary, so we're still thinking at the same time. Or, just bringing us. Sometimes it's cathartic. If you've seen you guys sometimes struggle through, a situation, and so just appreciate, you guys putting yourself out there.
Oh, that's cool. What a cool thing to say. And what a beautiful thing to say, too, I hadn't thought about that, about how it's television, so it's allowing you to relax, but it's television that is still making you think.
Right.
And that's a big complaint about television. Is on the whole, it doesn't. It makes people turn their brain off. Mm-hmm. And so if something does inspire you, does make you go, oh, what does that mean in our world? Mm-hmm. And that's wonderful.
Sometimes, there is some television you just turn your brain off, but there's some it's just like, it's like reading a book. You gotta, you gotta engage it.
Yeah. Sci-fi, I think, is a little bit more notorious for making you think.
Yeah.
Like good sci-fi.
Completely, right? Because it's a safe environment to do exactly that, to explore religion and politics and things that are really difficult to explore in our world without, getting upset or defensive. And here we can explore those really personal things in a venue, which is safe.
Right.
Because we're talking about another world.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's why it's you're almost therapists for us in a sense.
There you go.
Well, you guys are therapists for us. We come here and go, oh yeah, I am okay. Yes, thank you.
Well, what future projects can we look forward to seeing you in?
Oh, I always feel like I'm much too transparent. I always feel as an actor, you're supposed to say, oh, I've got these things on the sideline. I got nothing coming up right now. I'm working on my garden a lot.
Well, that's good.
Which I'm very excited about. I love my tomatoes, my zucchinis. I just figured out potatoes. I'm working on garlic.
Well, you need it.
Are you up in Canada now?
No, I live in Los Angeles.
Okay, Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Do you have a big garden?
I do. I bought this teeny little house about 2 years ago, and it's a teeny little house, and the garden's like 3 times the size of it. So I kind of bought it with that idea going, I know the economy's funny. I might be unemployed for a while, so I'm going to get a place that I can grow my own food, just in case.
That's great.
Getting off the grid.
That's actually a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
Right? I think it is. Mm-hmm. I might get some chickens, too. That's my next step. 2 chickens, and I have enough eggs for me and my neighbors.
There you go. That's great.
And then maybe I can do a reality show about it so I can get a job. There you go. Actor goes gardener.
I know. My mom's a big gardener. We have a few tomato plants and some zucchini and stuff like that. But that's it for us. And then my mom, of course, when growing up, we had 3/4 of an acre garden.
Really?
And she was feeding a family of 6. So.
Oh my God, good for her. But it's hard work gardening. It's a lot of work to keep everything up.
I hated it growing up.
Did you?
I did. Because, as a kid, you're like, oh, I got to go out and, weed the garden, pick the potato beetles off, or whatever it is that you have to do.
And it's a chore.
It's a chore. But, but I've considered, especially with the economy going back into it, I'm like, well, I know how to do this.
Yeah, and on every level, not only the economy, but also the transportation of the food, the oil issue. You think about food that's being transported, and it tastes better. So it's healthier, it's cheaper, and it's...
And there's just that satisfaction of you made this happen.
Right. There's something magic about that. It's true. Taking a bite of a tomato going, oh my God. That was a seed. I put that seed in the ground.
Right. Kept it watered, you weeded it, and you get to see your work in...
Right, and that's the other thing I think is it's tangible, because I was talking about that as an actor. What we do is very untangible. It's very... and I used to do a lot of theater. I just actually finished a play a little while ago. I did Much Ado About Nothing, which was great. I had been Shakespeare for a while, and I was amazed the number of sci-fi fans that flew out to LA to see it.
Oh, great.
It blew my heart 5 sizes bigger. I couldn't believe it. And people that had never seen a play before, had never seen Shakespeare before. Really, really beautiful. What was I saying?
Plenty much to do about nothing.
But
I'm not sure why...
I can't remember. There's a connection about the garden, but I lost it.
That's all right.
Coffee hasn't kicked in.
Well, you're enjoying, doing lots of my theater on the side.
Yeah, that's my next. I'd love to do that a bit more of that next year. It was a really great reminder of the muscles.
Well, thank you so much for sitting down and chatting with us a little bit.
My pleasure. Thank you.